Pokrovsk has emerged as the latest epicenter of the Russia-Ukraine war, a battle that both Moscow and Kiev regard as decisive for the fate of the Donbass front. For Russia, the city represents a breakthrough that could tilt the balance in its favor. For Ukraine, it is a do-or-die struggle demanding every last reserve. With supply routes under siege, Western aid dwindling, and Russian drones proving ever more lethal, Kiev faces mounting existential pressure. Pokrovsk ignites as Ukraine commits its reserves. Recent developments reveal the intensity of the fight. According to Russian military channels, Ukrainian forces continue counterattacks, in some cases regaining up to 3 kilometers. Yet the costs have been devastating. At least 4 frontline brigades are reportedly shattered, forcing Kyiv to commit nearly all remaining reserves to hold the line. Moscow has tightened its grip, enclosing Pokrovsk in what it calls a fire pocket. Russian advances threaten to sever the city. The southern railway line is already in Russian hands, while pressure grows around Soborny Square and the central train station. A soldier from Ukraine's 68th Jaeger Brigade admitted grimly, Pokrovsk has become a true death zone. Attempts to disrupt the Russian advance from Dobropoli have faltered. Fierce clashes rage in areas like Vladimirovka, Rodinskoye, Nikanorovka and Sofievka, where control changes hands repeatedly. Russian war correspondent Yuri Kotinok described the fighting in districts such as Lazurny and Yuzhny as relentless artillery duels. Elsewhere, Russian gains near Kupiansk and Seversk have heightened fears that Pokrovsk could share the fate of Bakhmut, encircled, cut off from resupply and gradually crushed from within. Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Valery Syrsky has yet to authorize a withdrawal, but frontline officers near Kramatorsk warn that continuing the defense could mean catastrophic losses. Logistics, strangled as Russian UAVs shift the balance. Ukraine's earlier reliance on nighttime mobility to sustain supply lines has all but collapsed. Reports from the Wall Street Journal note that Russia has introduced networked drones. Heavy UAVs act as airborne hubs, flying deep into Ukrainian territory before deploying smaller attack drones against convoys, depots, or evacuation routes. These drones, some guided by fiber-optic cables, extend operational ranges to 19 to 32 kilometers, traditionally the domain of artillery, while delivering far greater accuracy against moving targets. Every movement on the road is now a gamble, admitted Lieutenant Colonel Dmytro Zaporozhets of the Ukrainian army. As a result, supply routes have become lethal corridors. Countermeasures such as camouflage, netting, or using smaller vehicles have proven inadequate. Russian strikes often target critical choke points, collapsing entire defensive networks. The shortages manifest quickly: dwindling ammunition, scarce medical supplies, and delayed evacuations. Ukrainian medics confess that many wounded perish simply because roads are impassable, and Russian drones hover overhead. Political and financial strains on Kyiv. Beyond the battlefield, the battle for Pokrovsk intensifies Ukraine's political and economic burdens. The finance ministry has warned that state funds could be exhausted by year's end without fresh aid. Meanwhile, Washington has signaled reduced spending on European support, undermining Kyiv's war footing. President Volodymyr Zelensky now faces a dual crisis. He must demonstrate tangible military success to maintain public morale, yet without clear gains by December, Ukraine risks a political reckoning. Former President Viktor Yushchenko has even urged marching straight to Moscow. But the reality of severe manpower losses, such as the near obliteration of the 23rd Brigade, has left Ukrainian combat power dangerously eroded. Open-source intelligence suggests Ukrainian fatalities may already exceed 660,000, with more than 10,000 casualties reported around Pokrovsk and Dobropoli alone. Special drone units like the Magyar Group temporarily shield the city, but analysts caution that this may only delay the inevitable. Russian journalist Yevgeny Podubny has indicated that Moscow is preparing both domestic and international audiences for the collapse of Ukraine's defences around Krasnoarmysk. Should Pokrovsk fall, the entire western Donbass defence line could unravel, clearing the path for Russia to thrust deeper into eastern Ukraine's industrial heartland. As winter 2025 approaches, Pokrovsk stands as a defining test. With Moscow escalating its drone warfare and Kyiv exhausting its last reserves, the city symbolizes not only a military crucible, but also a political gamble that could shape the future of the war itself.